our local host, Rosa, will be only a phone call away during your trip. So my name is, again, Amber Martin. I've been working with Untour since this past September in 2021. I have previous experience of living in Italy for about 1.5 years total, and I've been to Italy 7 times at this point since 2009. So I have an immense love of Italy, and I fell absolutely in love with the Amalfi Coast the first time I visited. I was just recently in the Amalfi Coast again this past November to meet up and view a lot of our apartments. So what we are doing today is covering the Amalfi Coast, and it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1977. It attracts thousands of tourists every year, and we will be diving into a few reasons why it's such a popular destination to visit in today's presentation. One of my personal favorite things from this past trip is the food. I am an absolute seafood fan, and this is the zuppa de pesce, which is the rustic stew brimming with seafood, clams, shrimp, mussels, squid, and cod, and is usually simmered with tomatoes and white wine, and is customarily served with bread. So one of the things to finish the meal off in Amalfi is to have a glass of a very cold limoncello, which is used as a digestive by the Italians. And Italians love their limoncello. As you can see from this photo here, there is a wide variety of different options. Can you just believe how many options there are? We see it here and we just think, okay, it's a lemon yellow substance that you drink that's alcoholic, but there's so many different varieties in the Amalfi Coast depending on where you go. And the Amalfi lemons are what make it very unique. Originally, the Amalfi lemon was developed to be a cross between the small local lemons and bitter oranges. So we have when you're on the Amalfi Coast and you're traveling throughout, it's really interesting, and you'll see in some pictures that we'll show later, they actually tier the structure in Amalfi. So along the coast itself, you'll be driving or going on the buses and you'll just see tier after tier of these beautiful lemon gardens that will be covering the shoreline. And they usually collect and gather these lemons from February to October every year. This is what they look like. If you can imagine, these things are almost the size of your head. They're twice the size, if not 3 times the size of the type that you see in Italy or in America. And they are long, tapered, and they tend to be more sweet. In Italy, you can peel these and eat these just like you would an orange. The juice, the flesh, and the peel, along with the leaves, are used in different cuisine on the Amalfi Coast. And as I mentioned before, they are the main ingredient that makes the limoncello so famous on the Amalfi Coast. This here is a view of Atrani, which is, we often talk about Amalfi Coast, and that's the main town of Amalfi, but Atrani is one of the many villages that are along the area, and Atrani is one of the locations that we have apartments in Amalfi Coast as well. The springtime on the coast offers blooming flowers and warm weather, while the fall is a perfect time to escape the larger crowds and get over the summer months. So we always encourage everybody to look at the different time frames. We don't tend to have options in the middle of the summer, and that's done on purpose. You want to be able to be in Amalfi and any of our destinations when it's the peak time, in the sense of you're not going to be bogged down with other tourists in the area. And in the middle of the summer, a lot of the Italians will actually escape the cities and go to other places to avoid the heat. So you'll be looking at apartments from March until about June, mid-July. And then sometimes you'll be coming back in September and October is our typical season for most of our locations. Here is a photo of the Amalfi ceramics, which are very, very popular. And they're known for their ceramics because the Amalfi Coast is rich in clay, limestone, and volcanic substances. So that leads to a very productive ceramic population there. So these goods have been produced in the area since about the 15th century, and they're very commonly characterized by their bold, simple designs and sunny colors. So if you get the opportunity to pick up a one-of-a-kind piece and take it home as a treasure during your travels. With having home bases in Amalfi and Atrani, it allows you to have the center of the coastline of Amalfi, and in a little bit, I'll be showing you a map to give you a better idea and acclimate you to what the logistics look like of where we're talking about. But it allows you to have quick trips to places like Ravello, minori, maggiori, as long as longer day trips to Positano, Sorrento, Salerno, and the island of Capri. Additionally, you're on basically the doorsteps of Pompeii, Herculaneum, and Naples. The towns are very close. You can do them pretty quickly in a day, or even if you want to go an overnight in Naples, it's a great opportunity to hit up some of these beautiful ruins that were caused by the great eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD. Additionally, above Amalfi and Trani, there's a town that's beautiful. I got to visit it this past November, and they have the gorgeous views. It's about 1,000 feet above Trani itself, and you can reach it as part of the bus program that we have. This is just one of the many places you can choose during your independent travels with us when you're on the Amalfi Coast Untours. Our apartments themselves are situated in the heart of Amalfi and Trani, and this offers the best way to experience the Amalfi Coast by offering you a convenient home base in order to experience and venture around the surrounding towns. And each of these offer a unique slice of paradise. Here is one of our newer apartments, and I actually was speaking to one of our clients that basically this is a terrace that is part of the Terrazza Terracotta apartment. It's a 2-floor, 3-bedroom apartment that we have available in Amalfi at the moment. So what we're going to do now, I'm actually going to take you on a quick little starter tutorial to view some of the apartments online. The reason I'm doing this is that I've often have a few questions that come up, and we have a lot of availability and information on our website, but I just want to make sure that it's structured in a way that makes sense for you. So let me pull this up here for you. Okay, so are we able to see everything still? Okay. So here is the main part of the Amalfi Coast Untours page. And so what this does, when we go to our page, we have all of the apartments listed for the Amalfi region. And you could go to a different region by picking one of our other locations to the left here. But while we're on this page here, what I'll do is I'll take you to one of my personal favorites, the Jewel E apartment. When you click on view property, what this will do is going to bring up a better view of the apartment itself. So you'll see the photos, you'll see what the perfect deals and different deals that are happening at the moment, as well as a short description. The important part that I find is when you scroll down here to the property details, you're going to have occupancy and show how many people these typically sleep, as well as things like the pluses, the accessibility, the transportation for these locations. As well as right here, we have another section that's for the weather. When you click on that, it's going to show you the region by month for the highs and lows in the area, as well as the possible precipitation. So we always encourage you to look at that to help determine which time of the year you would like to go. Additionally, we have a tab here at the top that's called What's Included. The reason I mention this, usually you can view this a lot better from either a phone or a website. Sometimes I've noticed, and I've had clients mention, when you're viewing from an iPad, occasionally these tabs have a little bit problems coming up. So just keep that in mind if you're viewing the website. So what this will do is it goes down through, talks about what's included in the Amalfi Untours, as well as has a option to view the village. So what this does is it gives you a brief snapshot of, for instance, this apartment is in Trani, and it'll give you a little idea of what's around. Additionally, we have a review section, and the neat thing about this, these are untourists that have used this apartment in the past. So these are direct references that we've received after people have come back from the trips that we like to have firsthand experiences from people that we've dealt with directly. Additionally, there's a ratings tab right beside it. This is very useful because this shows the possible score the apartment itself can have, and then the scores that our untourists have rated it over time. So what this does is that we go down through, we'll say, sunlight, 3 out of 3, beautiful sunlight, great windows. But then when it comes to different items, for instance, screened windows, Italy often does not have screens in their windows. So that's going to be ranked as 0 because it doesn't apply. So what you can do is come down through, see what's most important to you, different things that may apply to one person, maybe something that somebody else is not looking into. So we like to have that as an option on the ratings tab. Additionally, we do have a map that comes up, and what you can do is zoom in, and it'll give you a better idea of where the apartment itself is actually located in the region that you're in. So if you're interested in those photos that we saw at the beginning, the gallery tab does give you a better view of all the photos at once. That way, if you don't want to, or have a picture that you want to compare to another one, you can scroll down through and look at all the apartments themselves. So I also like to mention, while you're on this tab, we often talk about samplers, and you may hear us talk about that, but you might say, what is this? So the samplers themselves, we have an option to the right here that shows you different options within Italy that you can go. And I will talk on this a little bit later. So if you're confused at all, I will bring it back up. So for instance, if I want to be interested in going to the Amalfi Coast for 1 week and then going Tuscany the second week, it'll pull up the specific page for that. So we have a 3-step process you go through. You would select your party size. You would be interested in whichever month you're interested in. So for instance, I'm going to select April of 2023. And as you scroll down, you'd see the cost per person and then view properties. So at that point, we flip over to the main page. There, right here, you'll see at the top, we're on the Amalfi Coast properties section. You would choose which one. I'm just going to select the top one of each one, just as an example. And then you go to the Tuscany tab. And again, you would select which property you're interested in. It loads it up to the left here, and you'll see an option that shows you the price per person and the reserve now button. The neat thing about this, it pulls both those samplers together into one cost. It has a review on the left. And one of the things we mentioned on this tab, no payment is required at this time. We do hold these for 7 days. And what we do is we actually contact the owners directly. And this allows us to confirm with the owners on site that those apartments are indeed available. And at that point, then we would proceed with the arrangements. You would fill out your contact details, as well as who you'd be traveling with, if you have any children you're traveling with, and how you hear about us. All you have to do is click book this on tour, and somebody will be in contact with you to go with the next process as well. So we always encourage everybody to make these types of requests. That way we can confirm. Then at that point, if you decide to change your mind, or if you say, you know, I'm actually looking at doing Amalfi Coast and Venice, we can go through and work from there, but at least we can get an idea if the apartments are available for you or not. So I'm going to continue on with the next part here. So the main question would be, why Untours? Well, we've been working since 1975 to be finding the best apartments available in Europe, scoping most of the appealing locations in a region or a city, and signing accommodations that meet rigorous standards and cultivating relationships with the local hosts. Basically, you get the whole package with Untours. That's the best thing about this. Basically, you will get an apartment, local transportation, transfer assistance to and from the airport or train station, helpful planning information before you go from somebody like me who knows a lot about the areas that I'm in, and then on-site service from the knowledgeable staff. And in this case, our on-site person is Rosa for Amalfi. Our apartments give you extra lounging space, local character, and a more authentic feel to the area that you're living in. So you can use your kitchen to prepare meals. You can go to the local markets and purchase the produce and the ingredients directly from the local climate. And the apartments allow you to have this ability to spread out and are great values for families or couples that are looking to travel together. This also allows you to be in the heart of where you're at. So in this case, we have locations in Amalfi and Trani that are just off the beaten path, yet are still straight in the middle of the picturesque towns that we're in. This also allows close access to things like shopping and dining, and excellent sightseeing and day trips are available just down the road from Amalfi. This will allow you to stay in the heart, but be away from the main areas that would be more of like a tourist spot. The apartments themselves are private and fully furnished. So typically these are equipped and decorated with local charm from the area. Your Untours apartment will also be your home away from home the entire time you're there, and has been carefully inspected by the on-site staff and visited regularly to ensure the quality is maintained throughout. We sign apartments continuously and make sure they go through these rigorous standards. That way we make sure that what we are representing to you is what it shows, if not better than the photos that we actually put online. Another great benefit to the Untours package is we arrange the private transfer between the airport or train station at the beginning and the end of your stay. This way you can relax on the way there as well as the way out, and you don't have to worry about things about how to get a taxi or where you're going. Basically, from the steps of coming out of the airport to the steps of your apartment, we handle everything in between. Rosa, our on-site staff person who's pictured here on the right, will be available throughout your entire stay. She will be meeting with you on the day of the arrival, as well as doing the orientation the following day. And she will be available by phone. We often encourage everybody to get the app called WhatsApp, and it allows you to connect directly to her through Wi-Fi. Another major bonus to the Untours is the orientation itself. We offer a full Amalfi Coast orientation that helps with the insight for the local cultures. So this is usually following the day of your arrival. So all arrivals happen on Wednesdays. And so on Thursday mornings, Rosa will meet with you. You'll go through and get you acclimated to the Amalfi Coast. So she'll explain how to use the public transportation system, as well as give you your bus tickets, and as well as show you local sites and favorites of hers, as well as the walks throughout Amalfi. Additionally, she will arrange and lead the group event following the orientation on that Thursday as well. The regional buses are included with your package as well, which is really great because then no matter where you want to go, you have a bus ticket in hand and you can jump on and off as many times as you want the entire time you're there. This is great because between Salerno and Sorrento is one of the best bus rides you'll ever take in your life. So I took the bus and went from Rome down to Amalfi. I took a train and got off in the Salerno train station. It takes about an hour and 15 minutes by bus to go the entire shoreline. And the photo that's actually behind me right now is a photo that I took this past November from a bus window in a moving bus. So if you can imagine, that's what I'm taking on a cell phone. The spectacular views is just breathtaking. And unless you're there, you don't truly get that full experience of weaving on those roads along the Amalfi Coast. This will be covered fully during the orientation. You'll get the tickets, the instructions, schedules, and other details from Rosa directly. This also allows you to live like a local once the orientation is over. So basically, Amalfi itself is sitting among the hills and the harbors on southern part of Italy. This is one of the most stunning seascapes that you'll see. And as you can see in the background here, you get this opportunity to explore these tiny little towns, unlike if you were following someone through and rushing point to point. You get to set your schedule as you want it. So this allows you to slow down and truly enjoy your Italian lifestyle while you're living there. Often the untourists will stay for 2+ weeks in one of the destinations, and things like planning resources are provided for you before you go that includes helpful links, advice, and local information from both myself, as well as on-site support from Rosa. Prior to your trip, you're also sent an Untours guidebook, which has been researched and written by Untours staff specifically for the destination in mind. So as I mentioned earlier, we have the samplers available. So that was the tab I had shown you on our website where you could pick, for instance, Amalfi and Tuscany or Rome and Venice. What this allows you to do, you can explore 2 or more areas at a time to make the best out of your trip. So the samplers have, in our case, are Italian samplers. So you can pick any of our 6 destinations. You can do as many as you want in a row. And this allows you to have the best follow-up. Basically, every Untours sampler is an Untours, but then we transfer you to the next location. So we handle all the transfers, and then you are greeted and as if you're coming in for a first Untours as well. So it's a great way to do back-to-back trips in these regions without needing to put a couple months or a year between your travels. So it allows you to really experience a broader range of Italy in a shorter amount of time, and still have those easy transfers that you don't have to worry, when am I going from Venice down to Amalfi? We handle all of those plans. So 1 week you can be sitting on the beaches like you are on the left with Amalfi, and then next week you could be exploring the canals of Venice. Basically the choice is yours how you would want to pair the samplers together. Another thing, we've tackled traveling in Europe in the time of COVID. So right now, we are continuously monitoring changes. There's a lot of changes coming out in Europe as well as in the US. Right now, the standard is you do not need any type of COVID test to be able to go to Italy at the moment. These regulations are continuously changing, and we will make sure in your final arrivals package that we include these details. And we have a website source that you can go onto our website and look up the current requirements. Right now, they are also requiring you to have the CDC vaccination card with you. And often we are encouraging you to bring your photo ID with it to verify, since there's no picture on the vaccine card. And these would be for things like the restaurants, the museums, or public transportation. You're also still required to wear masks in a bunch of places in Italy at the moment. And so we always encourage you to have some of those with you as well. Currently, there is a negative test requirement to be able to come back to the United States. And so our on-site staff will help you find this relevant information, as well as help you find the testing locations to be able to get ready to travel back to the States after your time in Italy. We're in a really unique situation with Untours, as we are actually owned by the Untours Foundation. So on the right here, you'll see Elizabeth and Jonathan. They are co-CEOs of Untours Foundation. They are a small progressive business. They help small progressive businesses create jobs and support fair trade, and work to alleviate poverty by providing low interest loans to businesses in the Philadelphia area, across the United States, as well as around the world. Since its founding in 1982, the Untours Foundation has loaned over $8 million and is a public charity registered as a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Basically, every time you travel with Untours, all of those funds that you've paid to go on your Untours is directly funneled back into the foundation to further support the work in the community. So by traveling with us, you're also giving back to the fair trade and the small businesses that use these micro loans. Also, a neat thing that we're doing here at Untours, we are going climate neutral. So that means by 2023, we will be 100% carbon neutral. This is offset the fuel carbon impact of your vacation. So basically the fuel charges with the flights. And we do this by supporting places like the wind energy projects in India and a clean water project in Kenya. And these are the climate neutral travel is something that was initially founded by the Untours Foundation. So they initiated it, and we've gone now this carbon neutral. So we're offering a special discount code currently for anybody in attendance today. So if you are interested in going to the Amalfi Coast, we're going to offer a 10% off your new booking of the Amalfi Coast Untours through May 11th. So feel free, you can reach out through me. I've included my information on the screen itself. You can reach us on our website. We have a live chat feature, so we can talk to you right away if you're interested in chatting online. You can also reach out by phone or by email, and we can look at booking you on your next Amalfi trip. One of the things I'll do before we go to the questions, as I mentioned before, I wanted to take you on a slight trip to Amalfi itself. And what we'll do by that is we're going to travel through Google Earth. So it's going to zoom in here real quick. Give it a moment to pull up. Okay. So this itself is the Amalfi area. This is the Amalfi town. It's the namesake of Amalfi itself. And the neat thing about it is it's right along the coast. So you can see the town here. There's one main road that goes through Amalfi itself, and the buses do pick up right near the shoreline here. There's also ferries that go to various locations along the shore, and those bus tickets will allow you to go to the places like Minori, Maori, Ravello, and also to have the town of Atrani right next door. So when you're saying you're staying in either Amalfi or Atrani, this here is the town of Atrani itself. There is a tunnel that goes directly through the mountain here that is actually meant for a parking garage area, and it's a walkable path for anybody. So you don't have to walk along this main road the whole way through. You can go through this entrance here, and it's a free entrance to walk through the mountain. And then there's also an elevator that will go up to the top, and you can walk along the top of the mountain to go between Amalfi and Atrani itself too. And Atrani is known for its beaches. You can go, and some beaches are free, but others you do have to pay for. It just depends on what time of year and where you're going. The town of Atrani is a little bit smaller, but it's a beautiful area to go to as well. And some of our apartments are actually located right here in the main area of Atrani. One of the other things I had mentioned was the town of Ravello. So this up here at the very top, the 1,000 feet above Trani itself, is the town of Ravello. It is known for two different villas that you can visit up there, and they have the infinity terrace. So basically you can go up here and get a beautiful view of the sun setting. It's very romantic. And again, it's included in the bus trip when you come. You can see the winding roads at the bottom. And as I mentioned before, you'll see all of the staggered hilltops where you'll see all the lemon trees and the citrus trees of the town of Amalfi and Trani and the whole coast. Just to acclimate yourself to where we're talking, this is going to zoom out and actually show you what is considered the Amalfi Coast itself. So you'll find the town and city of Naples up here. And what the Amalfi Coast is considered is from the Gulf of Naples the whole way through to the Gulf of Salerno. So this entire track, that is the main bus route that you go through, and the island of Capri is also over here as well. So you have places like Positano, Sorrento that you can visit. You have Minori, Maori, and Salerno as well as countless other little towns and hamlets that you can visit throughout the entire area. And that's the best thing about with the bus tickets. You can jump on and off. You can plan as much or as little. If you want to go out and just sit on a terrace or, you know, just go and sit by the water, that's your choice, which is perfect. Additionally, if you're interested in Pompeii or Herculaneum, which are two great locations you can go visit, they're right around the corner. So they're about an hour by bus, or if you take the train, about an hour by train as well. And it's a tiny little train that connects from basically the Salerno train station through Pompeii, through Herculaneum to Naples. And a lot of people are interested in going to Pompeii, but honestly, my personal favorite thing to do is to visit the town of Herculaneum. The reason why this location compared to Pompeii, if you look at where the volcano is located, which is in the background right here, it actually was hit by a mudslide and completely covered by the mudslide when the volcano erupted in 79 AD. And it wasn't really found again until the 1980s. So if you see here, it's actually been carved out and you have to go down and into the earth itself. But the neat thing about it, there's still roofs. There is, in Pompeii, when the ash fell from the sky, it actually burnt all the roofs in the upper levels of the buildings. Compared to Herculaneum, the gases were released and the mudslide came and it covered everything. And so when you walk through the town of Herculaneum, the actual structures of the buildings have petrified wood from the heat of the gas in the volcano. And so you can find things there, you know, perfectly preserved frescoes, and you can have so many more unique experiences, and it's empty. Not a lot of people know about this location. And as you can tell, as humans, they built around the volcano even after this. So there's so much of Herculaneum that's been undiscovered because there's a physical living city above it at the moment. And so the neat thing is, no matter when you go, they're always finding new things at this location. So I just wanted to mention that as a quick personal favorite of mine in that area. And it's called the Herculaneum, and you can find it just east of the volcano itself, close to the coast. So Naples is right down the road as well, but you can see from here, I wanted to show you a shot. The Amalfi Coast is the entire length right beside Naples, the Capri. There's so much to do in this region, and it's just a personal favorite of mine to visit. And I hope that by doing this tour today, it gives you an opportunity to have a better understanding of what we're offering. And so I wanted to thank you for everybody for coming to the trip today, going through the tour with me. And if you have any questions, we're going to open it up here in a minute. Brian's going to go through and do a Q&A. And if anything else comes up, feel free to reach out to me afterwards, and we can go through and answer additional questions as well.
Okay, thank you, Amber. So now we're going to open it up for some questions, and we've already got a couple of questions, and I may answer some. Amber's probably going to answer most of the questions. But if you want to stop the screen sharing, Amber, people can be able to see you a little bit better.
Yep.
And I'm going to actually make it so that we can see everybody a little bit more easily here. Great. Okay, so a couple of questions already have come in. The first one is from Michelle. She asks, can we get information on how to get to Rome from our apartment before we arrive? Private driver, bus, train, etc. What about a hotel recommendation in Rome?
Sure. So I'll go ahead and take that question. So
Okay.
the neat thing is, with where Amalfi is located, you can go by bus to the train station and then take a train directly from the Salerno train station or the Naples train station directly up to Rome itself. It takes about 2.5 hours, 3 hours, depending on which train you pick, because there are high and low and local trains, but high-speed trains are what I would recommend. In the town of Rome itself, we have a location called the Hotel Coliseum. We have specialty rates that we can get for the Hotel Coliseum. So if you let me know that you're interested in going there, let me know your dates, how many nights you want to go, and I can actually make those arrangements for the Hotel Coliseum. And the other location in Florence, just to throw this out there, is the Hotel Pendini. So if anybody is ever interested in going to Florence and Hotel Pendini, those are the two locations I can actually help with special rates and accommodations to get that arranged.
Okay. Abigail asks, from Atrani, does one pass through Pompeii to reach Herculaneum?
Yes. So when you would take the train, Atrani is to the right of Amalfi. So when you're leaving Atrani itself, you'll head towards Salerno, and you can jump on one of the Salerno trains heading towards Naples. So you can jump on there, and you can find locations for the Herculaneum train station.
Great. Okay. Redis asks a question. Is there a single price or do you have to pay the double occupancy price? Let me just try to answer this one real quick. I'm going right now myself to the website just to take a quick look. But we have, if you go to the website, you're able to select the number of travelers in your party. So for October, I'm looking at a price starting at $26.59 per person for one person. And if I go to two travelers, the price changes to, for October, the price is on October 19th, $15.79 per person. So you can see it's not double the two-person price, but it's also not as low as the two-person price. So you are paying more than you would if per person if you were in a couple. But you can basically see exactly what the price would be if you go to the website. Now, Michelle asked, do we give recommendations for private driver and excursions? Amber, you want to answer that one?
So Rosa will have, during the orientation, she has a booklet. So it'll have daily itinerary ideas. She'll also have information on how to hire private drivers, as well as just a bunch of different information for the area. She'll cover all of that during the orientation itself. And the nice thing about the drivers is she always has some on hand. So if you want to make an arrangement, it's not like you need to do it a while ahead of time. You can usually make an arrangement for the following day. It just depends on where you're going, how far it is, and that sort of thing.
Okay. Dale asks, do you still have options that include airfare and transfers? I'll take that one, Dale. We do include transfers in many of our Untours, not all of them, but many of them. But we don't have options that include airfare. We used to, some of you old timers may remember that we used to have inclusive packages that included transatlantic airfare. What we do now is everything we sell is a ground only price. Dale, you are an old timer. I'm not going to make a comment on that because you are an old timer with Untours. That's great. But we now work with a partner who does who gets airfares that are often lower than what you'd be able to get on your own. So you book the Untour first, then if you'd like, we can get you a quote for a special fare, and they will work with you directly to make sure that you get the itinerary and the fare that you're looking for. All right, Michelle asks, no cell phones anymore. I don't think we're offering cell phones in any of our Italian locations anymore, are we?
No, not currently.
Right, right. We did for years, but we found that more and more people were coming with their own phones. They were using apps like WhatsApp, and it just seemed kind of silly to be spending the money and including that in the price. So no, we're not including cell phones anymore. You should come with your own and use this app called WhatsApp, or get a special package, a roaming package from your carrier. Those have gotten quite a bit more affordable over the past few years. Jack asks about steps in the town. What can we tell about what can we say about the many steps in those towns? Amber, she was climbing those steps in November. I'll let her talk about that.
Lots and lots of steps. So that is one thing you need to be wary of in Amalfi and Atrani. The town of Amalfi, compared to places like Positano or Salerno or any of them, Amalfi is a lot flatter as a whole. There's the one main strip, but then there's all the alcoves and the steps that go off the main area. So you would have to be prepared to do the steps. One of the things I'd mention for the apartments themselves, in the property details, we have accessibility and level options. So that's going to give you an idea of how many steps it's going to take for you to get from the ground level up to the apartment itself. For instance, some of the apartments in Atrani, there's a partial elevator that will take you half of the way, and then there's steps that continue to the apartments themselves. So we try to be as transparent as possible for the apartments, but you will have to be aware that going throughout the cities themselves, they do have a lot of steps. They do try to put the handrails and different things like that. You just want to be aware of the steps when you're there.
Yeah, the funny part about these towns is that, when we try to figure out how many steps there are to the apartment, the tricky part sometimes is from where, because there's, you might either different levels in the town. So sometimes we have to just make some arbitrary choices. Well, it's this many steps from this street, but if you go down that street, you might have more steps down to a lower level street. It's basically the sidewalks are steps. What we would call sidewalks are basically steps there. So it gets a little tricky, but Amber will do her best to explain if you need explanations. But clearly, you don't, if you're using a cane or have mobility issues, sometimes that's not the best. Amalfi may not be the best choice for you, or you want to find someplace that's really down low. Susan asks about Wi-Fi. Do you need Wi-Fi for WhatsApp? Not necessarily. If you have a data plan with your cell phone carrier that will work in Italy, you can use that for WhatsApp as well. And that will save you the cost of an international call to make a call within Italy. Most people use Wi-Fi, but you can use a data plan as well. All right. Abigail. Basic housekeeping, the literature notes, no cloth shopping bags in the apartments. Any chance of update on those? Amber, I'm going to let you take that. I'm not quite sure I understand the question.
So I think what she's mentioning is the fact that we're going and getting groceries. So if you're going to go to the grocery store, is there any kind of tote or canvas bag available in the apartments that allow you to take them and not use plastic bags going to and from the place? So one thing I would mention, Italy is a lot more environmentally friendly as much as Europe compared to the United States. So most of the times you have to actually buy the plastic bags when you go to the grocery store. They encourage you to bring bags with you, or they'll have a canvas tote available for sale as well. What I will do, and I know that you're going with us over there soon, Abigail, so I will reach out to the owner and double check if we have some available, and I'll work with Rosa on that. So usually they have, when I was in the one apartment, I know they had a couple bags in there because they just have it available. But I think it's going to depend on each place, but I'll work with our owner and find that out. But they are readily available in the grocery store for maybe a 3-4, 50 cents euros or a euro at a piece to get the biodegradable canvas bags. So if you want to have that option for environmentally friendly, you can do that in the grocery stores.
They're about the cheapest souvenir you can get, too. You come back with a nice Amalfi canvas bag, and you can go shopping at your local grocery store and feel proud about all sorts of things. So I enjoy bringing a couple of those back when I go to Europe. All right,
Fair.
Abigail, thanks. We don't mind taking and leaving. Okay, yeah, great. Okay, any other questions?
One other thing I'll mention, just in case anybody is interested in the limoncello. So Rosa has a location she goes to that when you buy the limoncello, they actually can ship it straight from the store to your house. That way you don't have to travel with the limoncello in your bag to get back through customs or to not accidentally break one in your suitcase that I might have done in the past. Red wine does not come out of socks really well, just so you know. I had my bottle wrapped. So I've learned to ship them. It's a lot more affordable and a lot less stressful. So Rosa will take you to that shop as part of the orientation. She loves to go there and show the local fairs, and you can have different things sent back in that shippable box, just in case anybody's interested in that idea.
All right. Now, if you're one of those people who doesn't like to type your questions and you want to just unmute yourself and wave, that's okay. You can do that as well. Michelle asks, how long is the discount? I think it
May
start
11th.
May 11th. Oh, wow. Okay, so book before May 11th, and you can get the discount. Okay, anybody else?
It doesn't feel possible that May is only a couple days away,
I know, right?
honestly.
Yep.
I don't know where this year has gone so far. So
Great. Okay, well, last call. No questions. Thank you, Amber. Good job. And thank you all for coming. It's been fun, and we hope that we can talk to you soon about going to Amalfi or somewhere else.
I was gonna say.
Lots of other places we can go as well. But it's been fun having you here, and we hope to see you again soon.